So, wow, that was really super.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much. Watch it, Willie.
Yeah, yeah. Get the mics. That was really dynamite. There, ladies and gentlemen, the marvelous French-Canadian stylings of the Beaudoins from Burlington, Vermont. Certainly one of New England's and probably one of America's best-known exponents of the French-Canadian style. Louis and Wilfred, it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Jack. It's so nice to be here.
You gentlemen and your family originated where in Canada?
My father came from Saint-Émilie de l'Énergie, which is about 85 miles north of Montreal. It's just below Saint-Michel-des-Saints, where everybody's been going fishing and hunting. It's real Laurentian country.
That part of the world, the music that you play and that you have played all over America, and most particularly at President Carter's inauguration, which we're going to talk about later, is that comes from that specific area of Canada?
I would say so, because most of the numbers that I've learned, that I play today, I've learned this from my father and some of my father's cousin, which came in that area. So I would say pretty much from that area.
Did the songs originate there, Louis, or did they come from another part of the world? Were they brought from the old country, for example?
I would say that most of these old reels and hornpipes and jigs, most of it came from Scotland or Ireland and them places, and that once they came to Canada, you know, when you start mixing it up with different fiddlers, well, each one of them has got a different way of playing and put feelings in it, and I suppose this is the way that the Canadian style more or less came out.
Yeah. Willie, you started playing the guitar, and you were about how old when you started playing?
Well, I would say about 12 years old.
Yeah. The music has a particular French-Canadian sound. It doesn't sound like the music of Scotland or Ireland or other places, so that your ancestors really came up with their own distinctive kind of music, did they not?
Absolutely, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The songs that you talk about, reels and jigs and what, are there lyrics with them, or are they mostly just instrumentals?
They are a few, or I didn't know that the question was directed to me or not. They are a few, or several, as a matter of fact, with lyrics in it. But as we know them, we wouldn't know anything. Probably maybe half a dozen. We may know that the words to, or something to that effect. But most of them, we didn't learn the words with the tunes themselves.
Well, there's one of the great French folklore singer, Mrs. Balduke. I remember when I was a youngster, we had records of her, and she took most of the old tunes, reels and jigs, and she put words to them, which some of the records are still on the market today. And you'll probably remember, Jack, last year that this Jeanne d'Arc Charlebois that came from Montreal.
Yes.
Well, she's a great artist and a great star, and she copied Mrs. Charlebois, and she sings all these folks songs and just like her. Outstanding.
I know that your family has been playing these songs in New England. Your family originally came from the Laurentians to the Lowell, Massachusetts area, correct?
Right.
And then you came to Burlington, but you stayed in Lowell quite some time?
Well, I was born and brought up until I was 17 there. And I come up here on vacation, and that's about the end of the Depression, somewhere in that time.
Well, actually, we came to Burlington in 1937.
Yeah, but I came on a visit at that time, and I never did go back.
I see.
I
Yeah.
stayed here with my uncle and dad, went back in Lowell and got the rest of the family.
Yeah. The songs, did you learn all the songs from your father?
Well, I wouldn't say all of them, because I have learned some of the other old fiddlers, such as Joe Danis, who incidentally passed away this past weekend. He was at the time 85 years old, and I learned several tunes from him, and we used to play quite often. And I've also learned some from Jean Carrière, and Graham Townsend, which are both outstanding fiddlers in Canada. And, well, another fellow named Henry Landry, and Fortuneau Vachon from up around the Princeville area, and Tedford Mine area, you know, you get together with some of the other fiddlers, and you're bound to learn something.
Sure. These songs, did they all come from about the same time, Willie? Do you know that they originated about the same time, or are there new ones coming out all the time that reflect the French-Canadian heritage?
Well, there are always new ones coming out, but I think you can see the distinction between two, really, from the new ones versus the old-time tunes that we know. I think that's true. As a matter of fact, when they have the Northeast Fiddlers, they have to authenticate the tunes to be from a certain period or, so old, just so the newer tunes will not be permitted to be played during the contest. So, as a matter of fact, I would say the new tunes are very distinguishable from the old-time Canadian tunes that we know.
Is that right?
Also, another thing, Jack, you take fiddling, and most people and most fiddlers, it's just like a dialect. Or I would say that 95% of a fiddler that'll sit there and play, you can practically tell in which area it comes from.
Is that right?
Right, definitely.
What part of Canada?
Right. Because
Are they all mostly, with this particular style, from the province of Quebec in Canada?
Pretty much so. And a lot of the people from Quebec right now, your fiddlers especially, and a lot of other people too that, that play accordion and a different type of instrument, they seem to copy quite a bit of Don Messier, who used to be one of the greatest in Canada. And also today, Graham Townsend and Jean Carrière. And, you can see where there's a lot of copying done. But an example that I'll give you, 3 years ago, in fact, we went to Shelburne, Ontario to the big contest there. And I happened to be with Graham Townsend at the time, and we were in a parking area where they had all the campers. And Graham asked me to play, and I did play for the people there, and there was two person in front of me. And right off the bat, they knew just exactly where that music came from, because they just mentioned it, Saint Emily de l'Énergie, and it's my father that came from there. And that's where they were from themselves. And they never knew me, never seen him before.
That's astonishing.
It is.
Did you ever think when you started out playing your music that your father taught you in Lowell, Massachusetts, that it was going to lead you to the nation's capital, to the presidential inauguration, to bicentennial celebrations on the Mall in Washington?
No, really. This has been the greatest honor I think I both in my family can.
It's unfortunate that he didn't live to realize that.
Yeah, unfortunately, my dad didn't live long enough to see this, but it was quite a feeling.
When you started out, did your father play professionally? Did he play at dances, or mostly just at home?
Well, Dad occasionally would play at home, and if the family, somebody would, at a wedding, he would play occasionally, and mainly it was just for the pleasure of playing for the family and good times that we used to have. I can remember as a little talk, well, I used to sit there and listen to Dad play. My maternal grandmother, we used to get up and dance, jig, and this is the way we used to spend time, you know.
Now, the dancing, as a matter of fact, is very integral to the music itself. The music that you play is dance music. I don't think that anybody could listen to it and not start tapping a toe. And if we knew how to do the dances, we would do them. But the music that you play is also performed as a dance by your daughter. And perhaps you could maybe give us an idea of the tune that you're going to play and what kind of dancing we're going to see.
Well, she's more or less what we call, anyway, a clogger.
A clogger.
Right. It's, well, you can say there's a mixture of step dances. Some of them refers to it as step dancing over here especially. But you take it in the Canadian provinces and around there, that's what they more or less call stepping or clogging. And this is what she does. It's a mixture of tap dancing and some of the steps that Irish and Scottish and Canadians and all mixed up, and that's what she does.
Okay. Can we have a look at and listen? What song are you going to play, Louis?
Well, I think this one here, we call it La Bastraine.
Okay. And your daughter Lisa is going to perform the clog dance. Okay. Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. That's you have to be in shape for that kind of dancing.
Oh, yes. You got to be young, let me tell you.
Yes, indeed. Now, the type of dancing that you would and play the music for, what kind of dances would they be? Would they be reels and that type of thing, Louis?
Yes, reels, mostly. Well, a lot of them we call a hornpipe. But we get a different version than a real Scottish hornpipe, you know. And
do you know how that happened?
I don't know. Just like you take most Canadians, we'll call a reel in French. Everything is a jig, you know.
Yes.
Because I think they refer to this because when they refer to somebody to dance, they'll say, "Well, come on, let's dance a jig." See? So I guess everything is more or less a jig. And this is how come it was that they picked up that I suppose that name for all the reels and hornpipes and whatever have you. I think that's what it is.
Well, when the family started playing, you and your brothers, the two of you started playing, and you have a daughter who joins and plays the piano normally.
I have three.
You have
three daughters.
Three daughters. Do they all participate?
Oh, yeah.
In the music?
Woody's got a son and a daughter that plays very well. And a lot of times we all get together and we just let go.
Yeah. When you started out and you're playing for the family pleasure, how did you get to be to the position that you are now, where you are preeminent in New England as far as the music is concerned, and you've had these unique honors playing at our bicentennial in the nation's capital and for President Carter's inauguration. How did this happen? How did you become almost professionals or professionals?
I wouldn't call me myself and Willie and the rest of the family professional, Jack, because as a mechanic and as a salesman and as a secretary, I wouldn't call myself professional. But I think, you know, when we first started this, it was just more or less a pleasure, like I said a little while ago, and we got to play and another thing, too, whoever brought us out, we can thank the Earth Audio Technique. They had us play in Crasbury in one of the fiddlers contests. Mm-hmm. Then we were approached if we wanted to make a record for them. Mm-hmm. And this is where things started, Jack. Mm. And we can thank Earth Audio today for Follow Records, what we have.
In that group.
In traveling around, the music there seems to be a resurgence of this type of music and preserving the music that has come from the past so that it doesn't die out. Are there others who are now coming along and are also playing the music? In other words, your family is here. Are there other people from the general area or only in Canada, or are there other groups in New England who play, for example?
No, right now, Jack, it's getting so, it's building up quite a bit. We started the Northeast Fiddlers Association back in 1966. And the first convention we had was in 1967 in Hardwick. And in fact, I gave a call to the president at that time, who was Clem Myers, which I didn't know. At least I didn't think I knew him at the time. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I called him, he invited us to go to the convention. And come to find out that it was 30 to 40 fiddlers came out there. And, you know, this is where we started to meet him. And from 1 month after the association was organized, we started to have a meeting every month in different places in the town, in the state. Mm-hmm. And also we have been to Massachusetts. And this is what brought in the fiddlers from everywhere, where at one time they were in dormant stage too, just like we were when I was a youngster. Mm-hmm. And now we know that they have associations in Canada, they have association in New Hampshire, Maine, and everywhere. Mm-hmm. And right now it's coming back and real strong.
It's surprising to see the youngsters, the 11, 12-year-old youngsters coming up that plays beautiful fiddle. And they may have started a couple of years ago, and they're really progressing fast.
Are they playing the same kind of music that you
yes. Yeah. In fact, a lot of them are copying what I play, and a lot of what the others play, and they turn out tunes of their own, and they're coming right along, believe me.
Now, your family originated in the Laurentians and came to New England, and we have talked with other people about the fact that the Acadians from Nova Scotia went to the bayous of Louisiana, mm-hmm. and that the music of Canada lives on very well there, too. Is that music essentially any different than the music that you play?
Yes, quite different. I don't know how to explain it. It's more or less like a waltz or 2 steps, and it's always this is what they dance mainly. Mm-hmm.
Like a double string.
And they double up on a string, and they use another fiddle to accompany this, where they get the bass. Mm-hmm. We went down in Louisiana, Willie and I and my wife and his wife, this winter for a 3 weeks vacation, and we visited these people that it's over here today, and many others. And believe me, Jack, the culture and the warmth is the same thing as when we were kids at home. Yes. That doesn't change. It's still there.
Okay. Maybe you would do another number for us now.
I think so.
Okay. What are you going to do?
This one I'll play the St. Joseph Reel.
Okay. Wilfred Beaudoin and the St. Joseph's Reel. That song, I guess, is very old.
It is old.
Yeah.
Very old.
How many songs do you fellas play? Do you have any idea how many in your repertoire?
Jack, I have no idea, but I can tell you that I've seen times that Willie and I would sit there about 8:30 at night and play till 2:30 in the morning. We never played the same tune twice, so I can't tell you what is my repertoire. I don't know.
When you get together with other musicians who play these kinds of, it must be something that just goes on and on and on and on. Do you?
Well, we had a good start this afternoon at Philo Record at the studio there with all these people.
Yeah,
everybody
Louisiana,
joined
Missouri.
in, and yeah, we just had a session. You know,
Are many of the songs that you play the same songs that would be played in Cajun country?
We've noticed maybe lately, probably a half a dozen that sounded familiar to us. The others, not really.
Well, because, like I say,
Well, they came from Nova Scotia too.
Right.
And
Well, no,
from
I
the
think
Laurentian
I
area.
think they selected their own type of music. You know, if we read through through the history, I think they had a lot of hardship and a lot of grief and so on and so forth when they were in exile. And I think most of their song reflects on the hardship and the pains and everything that they had, and that's about that's about the way the music goes.
Your music is more joyful. Your music is dancing and fun, and festivity and frolic, and there's not that sense of hardship and toil in it.
Right. I think this is a comparison. I think this is my personal feeling, because a lot of their songs it reflects that.
What do you suppose it is that has caused the great size of the Fiddlers Contests, the great upsurge in bluegrass and French Canadian, the Cajun, the Ozark, the different styles of music that are native to the North American continent?
You know, I think, Jack, most youngsters, especially I can give credit to the college kids today, they seem to search for their roots. And I think this is part of it. And then I think this is a big surge. And they just want to know their culture and where they come from and what they did, and their ancestors did, and they're coming back to this. And I think this is a great thing.
I don't know whether you fellas are rested or not. I hope you are, and I hope Lisa is rested too, because we'd like to see her come back once again to center stage to perform a dance for us. What are you going to play, Louis?
This one here I'm going to play is called the Grand Chain. The Grand Chain.
Okay.
Okay?
Righto. Okay, terrific. Thank you, Lisa. Absolutely wonderful. The Grand Chain. And our time is very, very short, but in the moment that we have left, what in the future for the Beaudoin family?
Well, we're going out on this tour for the Festival of Two World, which it'll take us to New Hampshire, Maine, and back to Vermont. And this summer, in July, we are going to Dartmouth College again to perform, which we did last year with Jean Carillon and Jean-Jacques Charlebois, and believe me, it was a great deal. And we enjoy it, and as long as we're capable and the help stays with us, we will go.
Well, it's marvelous that you're able to do this and to continue the cultural aspect and the great heritage of the music of Canada and your particular part of the world. And we're very proud in the state of Vermont that you represent us and so very, very well. And it must have been a terrific high point for you to be able to play, as we've indicated, at the inauguration. Was that the high point of your career, Louis?
I would say so, Jack.
Yeah.
You know, when you stand up on a stage, it's about 20 feet above the main floor, and you look down there and there's 10,000 people, wall-to-wall people, and you have to perform and play for them. Believe me, that's quite an experience.
I guess it is. Well, we only have a moment left. I'm very grateful for you for being with us on this program so that everybody can hear your marvelous music. We thank you a great deal for doing that, and maybe you could play some going-home music for us now. Louis and Wilfred Beaudoin, and again our thanks to your daughter Lisa also.
You're welcome, Jack, and we thank you.
Wow, that was really super.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much.
Yeah, get the mic. That was really